Today, we're going one-on-one with Dr. Renee Fowler Hornbuckle as she gives an in-depth, step-by-step, retrospective look on recalibrating your life from the inside out. Come along on this journey as Dr. Renee speaks.
Today on Dr. Renee Speaks, I never thought I would fail in life, but I did. You know, failure can be a bitter pill to swallow, but every single one of us fail at one time or another in our lives. And when we fail, I think it's an incredible opportunity for learning, for I feel that failures are simply stepping stones to success. Why can I say that? Because a person can either allow themselves to be thrown completely off by failure, or a person can use failure to build up their determination to do more and to be more, you know? And so what is really important when we look at failure is that the experience was really a learning experience. And if you learn something from the experience, then you can get back up again, and no longer should you do that thing that caused a failure in the first place. So a lot of people, however, fear failure. And but you got to know that everybody fails. Even the most successful people will fail. I feel I'm a great example because a lot of my failures were played out in public. They weren't private failures, they were public failures. What do I mean by that? It just seemed like so much of what God had allowed me to do based on my life experience and circumstances, you know, they were written and scripted in the media. And so it gave me opportunity to really be a model for people, because most of us would have said, hey, you know what, life has happened, it's over, I'm done, I quit, I give up. And that was a choice I had, but I chose not to take that choice. I chose to say, you know what, this may have happened, but I'm going to use this and I'm going to get back up again. So all people fail no matter what. The most successful people, if you really sit down and have a conversation with you, they'll let you know that they failed. They failed at something. Well, I mean, we could talk about, you know, the creator of the light bulb. It's been said that he failed over, I believe, 2,000 times, but it was on that 2001 time that he accomplished his goal and created something that we still use today. Just imagine, had he given up, had he quit, had he said, you know what, I'm not going to invent anymore, then perhaps we wouldn't have the luxury. And I'm grateful that we have electricity because it makes our life so much easier. So you can't give up so easily. You can't quit so easily, and you can't throw in the towel the moment that you encounter a little bump in the road, you know? What makes the difference between those that have failed and become successful is how they learned from the failure and how they use failure to succeed in life. The real failures are those who fall once and then refuse to even try it again for fear that they might fail again. Now that's a failure. But if you will use the model of the successful and say, you know what, I may fall, but hey, they fail, I can get back up, they get back up, then you've learned the lesson well. But one thing I do know is that the fear of failure can create anxiety due to the fear of not knowing and not being certain of what will happen next. So that's a reality. But most often this results in a small problem really being blown out of proportion. You know, really think about it. You know, if you have a failure, and it might not even be that big of a deal. It's a big deal to you, but it really might not be that big of a deal. But the more that you think about it and the more that you focus on it, perhaps you create a deeper scenario. Maybe the problem becomes bigger than what it really is. And that's how you create a mountain out of a molehill, is that you focus on it, you give it all your attention. Maybe next time try giving that attention to how you can come through this and get back on top. That's energy better spent, energy better used. You don't want to be a person that's anxious and overwhelmed, and then because of your failure you're frustrated and aggravated, and you're kicking the dog, you're taking it out on everybody. No, you need to take control of that, and you need to say, you know what, fear of failure is normal. How I feel about it is normal, but how I deal with it can really make the difference. The best thing to do when confronted with fear of failure is to take inspiration from the bamboo tree, okay? Why bamboo tree? Because a bamboo tree, it bends when confronted with a strong wind to keep itself from breaking. And then when the wind has stopped, it rises again, okay? The bamboo tree literally bends when the strong wind comes because it doesn't want to break, okay? So that's powerful to me, because when strong winds come, sometimes you've got to bend with the wind. And when that strong wind or that storm passes by, then you can rise again when the wind has stopped. You have to look around, assess your condition, and say, you know what, I'm still here, even though things may not be the way that they were. I'm going to rise. And you really can rise again. So I just want to leave you with these few tips. If you are a person who fears failure, I want you to accept that no one is perfect, not even you. And I want you to give yourself permission to make mistakes and to fail. And then learn how to give yourself another chance and another day to rise again and to get back engaged in the game and fight the battle from a different perspective, because you will have learned through the first failure. It's vitally important that you accept that these things are a normal part of life. Find a group of people, a support group, to lean on when going gets rough. People that are like-minded, people that are positive, people that are going to speak truth into your life, so that you won't be alone and feel rejected when you go through these failures. You got to have somebody in your corner. It could be your family, it could be friends, but when you are at the lowest point in your life, you got to have somebody to turn to and somebody to rely on. Somebody that can push you and remind you of how great you are, how necessary you are. Somebody who will say to you, don't quit, don't give up, don't throw in the towel. No, you have greater options. Whatever you do, do not let the bitterness of failure take root in your life, because all that will do is choke the life out of you. And if you stay in that place of fear of failure, then it'll just build up and it'll ruin you, and you'll never be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. You can talk about your fear, you can talk about your frustration, but don't stay in that place. You can get it out of your system. I have a practice with my kids, and when they're really frustrated and when they really feel like they failed at something, and they'll come to me and I'm like, okay, get it out of your system. But once they get it out of their system, we're not going to stay there. We're not going to hang out there. We're going to start coming up with a strategy on what they can do to overcome that situation. We're going to talk about the lesson that they should have learned and can learn from having gone through that experience. Again, if you take everything that you've been through in your life and look at it as, even failures, as stepping stones on the way to your success, on your way to the top, you will rise again. And you've got to remember that there's nothing that can take you out of the game but you, when you allow the fear of failure to paralyze you. Success is available to you. Your life changing is available to you. You have a choice to make, just like I did. And I chose to get up. I chose to rise. I chose to re-engage in this game called life. I chose to use my failures as stepping stones to success, never to experience those things again. I was determined. I was committed. I created the capacity to believe again, to trust again, and to do again. So to you I say, be like the bamboo tree. Bend when the strong winds come, but remember, you can get back up again. Rise to your calling.
To partner and or support Dr. Renee, visit ReneeHornbuckle.com.